see, the waves are breaking right across the reef, filling up that whole area with water. When water comes up, what does it have to do? It has to go back out. That's what creates the rip currents, right? So that water comes in, but it can't go out right here. Why? Because underneath the water, see all that white water? What's that mean?
Shallow.
There's a shallow shelf reef right underneath all of this side of Shell Beach, right? Right behind that extension reef, there's this big shallow plateau. Now I've been here with low tide with big surf trying to make rescues, and I'm out there and I get over that reef, and what happens in front of a wave? A trough, right? There's a trough in front of the wave, and when that trough comes over that extension reef, you get high and dry, you get high grounded right up on that reef, and then you've got a 3 to 5 foot wave breaking right on top of your head on the reef. Okay, when a wave comes and it's about to hit you in shallow water, and what are you going to do? Not much you can do, right? The trick is, as long as you have some water, you can shield yourself, because the water is as heavy as your body, right? And if you have 1 foot of water and you can get your body down into that 1 foot of water, no matter how big the wave is, it's got to go over that water, right? It'll stir you up, but it won't kill you, because water doesn't compress, right? So even if it crashes right on top of you, it's got to push all that water out of the way before it can get to you, all right? But if you have no water, what's going to happen? You're going to get blown. You're going to get sandstoned, right? You're going to get rolled in, okay? Then I have to ask you to protect your head and your neck at all costs, because if you don't protect this, you're going to be unconscious in the water, and I can't help you, right? As long as you can scream for help, I can get there. But if you don't have the ability to scream, then I can't help you. Now look at this. This is low tide here. Let me show you this. This is this side of Shell Beach. You guys see that? Okay. So this creates dynamics in the water. When you have this much energy, it's rolling over that extension reef. It's sitting on top of that tabletop in shallow water. It's pumping in this direction. And as it gets over here, it hits seal rock. Now seal rock is a solid object in the water. What happens when you have a solid object in the water and you have surf? You get currents, right? You get currents. Whenever you have a solid object, whether it's a pier or a jetty, anything, a rock, being sucked in right there, where are they going to end up? They're going to end up in this deep trough over here next to seal rock, and you can see it on here. You'll notice the water is going backwards, right? See where the white water goes. You know it flows out like a river? That white water is moving probably about 2 or 3 knots right now, okay? This surf is 3 to 5 feet, and that water's moving at 3 knots. Imagine if this was 15-foot surf, or even 6 foot like it was on Thursday. I was swimming through that rip on Thursday, and it was 4 knots. Michael Phelps can't swim 4 knots, not even for 100 meters, okay? So once you get into that rip, are you coming back? No, no. Now if you're a diver and you want to go all the way out to the kelp beds and be rested and not have to work real hard to get there or bring a boat, is that useful? Yeah, you get your gear on a calm day, you jump into that rip, and it will just flow you out there like a conveyor belt at least 400 yards. You won't have to work, you won't have to kick at all. You just float and it'll take you right out there. Now, if there's 6-foot surf that day, should you be going out? Probably not. Today, probably not. Okay? But you guys can watch, you can see how that water flows and flows until it gets to the deep water. And when it gets to the deep water, it slows down. All right, that's past the break. See where that kind of white water curves out there? That's the edge of the deep water. But if you look off of Seal Rock, you'll see that there's another extension reef that goes underwater. And you can see where the waves are breaking on that extension reef. Watch, see the curve? Watch. See where it's bubbling? See where it's breaking? Everything under that break is an extension reef. It's very shallow, less than 2 feet deep. And it goes out and it curves over towards the children's pool. As long as you stay outside of that extension reef, you're in deep water. You can go under the waves, duck dive, and you'll be fine. The water on top is moving constantly in across that reef. If you get sucked in across that reef, you're going for a ride. and it's very unlikely that you'll get back outside easily, right? Now, if we're trying to come in, that's a good thing, right? We want to come in fast. We can go outside and then come in between the west wall and the extension reef, and the waves will push us into shore. And that's what we want to do when we're coming back. But you don't want to go out through the rip and then get recycled over that reef, because if you do, you're going to end up on the inside of Seal Rock. See this little trough right here? You see it when it's low tide? That trough, just the trough on the other side, okay? And what happens is the water cycles like a pump. It's coming over this extension reef, filling up this area. It's coming in over that extension reef and filling up this area. And then it's pumping out through that rip constantly, all day long. When it's small, it's a slow rip. When it's big like this, it's a fast rip. And when this is pumping, it'll suck you right back into the foot of that rip at the base here and suck you right back out again. So if it's pumping, you got to be very careful when you're coming back in to go. Right when you get next to Seal Rock, you got to start heading towards the beach, because down here next to the cliff, the water is still, okay? It will slosh back and forth with every wave. It'll lift you up, it'll put you down, and it's a boulder field, so you got to stay like a water spider, flat, okay? But it's not moving, and you can swim over and get right on the edge of Shell Beach and come in and be safe on Shell Beach. Yeah. So there's sand right there right now, and the rip's not pulling right now because we're between sets, right? But if we went down there, we get in, we go out through the rip, we go all the way to the outside, halfway between West Wall and Seal Rock, right? In the deep water. And we're gonna meet out there, and then we're gonna swim in almost all the way up to the wall, and then we're gonna swim in through that trough right next to Seal Rock. And then when we get to the edge of Seal Rock, we're gonna swim directly into shore before we get sucked back out in the rip. You understand? All right, is everybody ready? Everybody prepared? Everybody warmed up? You ready to go?
The before.
Next set shows up. Count the number of waves that are in that set. As the last wave in that set shows, we're going to move.
Going to be out there snorkeling or scuba diving at some point. Like I said, the tides change while you're underwater. Okay, a current pushes you to a different beach than you expected to come in. The waves pick up. Okay, some challenge occurs, And now you've been through a little bit of that. The more you come to this program, the more you're going to learn to overcome those challenges. Not only look for those hazards, look for signs so that you can navigate safely in and out, but now you've been through a little bit of a tough circumstance. And the more you do this, the better you get at it. Practice. So that if you ever in one of those situations while you're out on your own, you've been, I've done this before, I know what to look out for. Okay, I can do this, I can handle it. You don't panic, and you're able to help yourself. And that, again, is the goal, to make people safer in the water, so you can go out there with more confidence, so you can have fun. Okay? All right, does that make sense to everybody? Come back and...
They would run.